A governing body, the Galactic Council, was composed of the most sophisticated and powerful alien species in the galaxy. For generations, they considered themselves the supreme authority on all interstellar matters. They ruled with overwhelming military might and a blend of superior tactics developed by each member race. Together, these elements created a formidable force, one that crushed threats to the established order before they could grow. The Council's dominance was not just about power. It was destiny. They believed advanced civilizations were born to rule, and that lesser species would either fall in line or fade into obscurity. Among the countless worlds under their influence, Earth was seen as little more than a novelty. Humanity, a young species on the cosmic stage, showed signs of resilience, ingenuity, even boldness. But these qualities weren't enough to earn a seat at the Council's table. Earth was considered minor, irrelevant, a backwater planet with laughable defenses. Over the years, the Council's intelligence services kept a watchful eye on Earth. Their reports painted a clear picture: humanity had no real ambition, no galactic reach, and no serious military threat. Their weapons were rudimentary, their strategies amateur, their defenses easily penetrated. To the Council, Earth and its people were inward-facing, too busy with their own problems to pose a threat. That view hardened during a crucial Council meeting where Earth's potential was formally assessed. In that chamber of power, human ambassadors issued a stern warning: our defenses are stronger than you believe. Any attempt to conquer Earth will be met with resistance unlike anything you faced. The Council scoffed, arrogant in their superiority. They dismissed the humans' words as mere bluff. They cited intelligence reports. They laughed. To them, the idea that humanity could mount any real defense was absurd. Earth, they decided, was not a threat. It wasn't worth their time or their resources. But for others, it was an opportunity. A coalition of alien races, eager to earn favor with the Council's elite, proposed a bold plan: invade Earth. A swift and crushing victory, they said, would not only remove a potential annoyance, it would prove their loyalty, their strength, and their worth. The Council agreed. And so the preparations for invasion began. The coalition built a fleet of warships, each armed with the latest alien technology. They believed Earth would fall within days. Driven by pride and a thirst for glory, they dismissed all doubts. As the fleet moved into Earth's orbit, the Council watched with smug indifference. They expected a routine operation, another primitive species silenced. The attack began with brutal precision. Coalition forces targeted military installations, communication hubs, and power grids. Explosions lit the skies. Cities trembled. Chaos spread. Earth's response was minimal. The invaders met little resistance, just as the reports had said. Earth's defenses crumbled. Installations fell one after another. Power was cut. Communication was jammed. The coalition celebrated. They broadcasted their victories across the galaxy, proof that humanity was no match for their strength. They secured key positions. Their troops landed with confidence. They saw themselves on the verge of total domination. Some even began drafting the terms of Earth's surrender. But far beneath the surface, human leaders watched in silence. In underground command centers hidden from the invader scans, they monitored the battlefield. The rapid fall of Earth's outer defenses wasn't an accident. It was a trap, a calculated deception meant to lure the enemy in, to make them arrogant, overconfident, scattered. And it worked. As coalition forces spread out across the globe, Earth's true defenses, the ones the Council never knew about, came online. From the depths of the planet, massive artillery installations emerged. Powered by advanced energy systems, guided by AI, they opened fire with terrifying precision. In orbit, ships that once loomed with invincibility were torn apart by concentrated fire. Their shields collapsed, their formations shattered. And then the sky shimmered. Planetary defense shields, previously undetected, activated around key cities and military sites. The energy blasts that once devastated infrastructure now harmlessly dispersed. Coalition commanders, stunned, realized their firepower was suddenly useless. On the ground, the situation deteriorated even faster. Human bunkers, once thought empty, were revealed to be fortresses, armored, armed, and waiting. Turrets emerged from hidden compartments. AI-controlled drones swarmed the battlefield. Strike teams, cloaked in advanced stealth technology, began launching hit-and-run attacks behind enemy lines. The coalition's confidence turned to fear. Their communications broke down. Their supplies were cut off. Their fleets, once dominant, were now wreckage floating in low orbit. One by one, their ground units were picked off. Panic spread. Orders were lost. Chaos reigned. This was no ordinary resistance. This was annihilation, and the Galactic Council, watching from afar, could do nothing but witness the destruction of an invasion they once celebrated. Humanity had played the fool and baited the trap. Now it was humanity's turn to strike back. The disclosure to commanders of Earth's shock waves had been sent not by bluster, but by actual military might. Under the direction of the coalition, their intelligence had been defective. Presumptions gravely misled them. The people they had written off as less advanced, technologically primitive, had been silently preparing for this day, creating tools and tactics that could defeat even the most sophisticated forces. The coalition's forces, invaded by aliens, overextended and stretched thin, were now at the mercy of a foe they had vastly underestimated. The coalition's first significant loss arrived quickly as their ships attempted to withdraw from Earth's orbit. They were intercepted by a covert human fleet, battleships that had remained hidden until the moment of attack. Outfitted with state-of-the-art weaponry and cutting-edge stealth systems, they penetrated the fleeing troops with brutal efficiency. Once 100 strong, the coalition fleet was reduced to a few scattered vessels that fled in chaos, spirits crushed and their superiors in disbelief. On the ground, the remaining coalition members fared no better. Trapped behind enemy lines with no hope of evacuation or reinforcement, they were methodically hunted down. The invaders who had begun this campaign full of pride and talk of annihilation now found themselves overconfident and overmatched. The ease with which Earth pushed back stunned the galaxy. Coalition troops and their leaders reeled from a conflict they had expected to be over in days, now turned into a nightmare from which they could not awaken. News of the coalition's defeats reached the Galactic Council. Disbelief quickly gave way to horror. The very members who had so confidently dismissed the grim warnings about humanity now faced the consequences of their hubris. Far from being the helpless planet they had anticipated, Earth revealed itself to be a stronghold brimming with latent force. The disastrous failure of the coalition sent shock waves through the Council, forcing them to confront a truth they'd long denied. They had not only underestimated Earth's defenses, they had underestimated humanity itself. The conflict had changed in mere hours, and there would be consequences galaxy-wide. The Galactic Council, once so confident in its dominance, now faced the staggering challenge of re-evaluating its entire approach to Earth and its people. The simplicity with which the coalition failed served as a harsh reminder: the galaxy was far more intricate and uncertain than they had believed. Earth had not simply defended itself. It had made a statement, one that would not be forgotten. News of the coalition's defeat swept through the stars like wildfire. What began as a self-assured strategic invasion had ended in catastrophic failure. The Council, once so certain of superiority, was shocked. Accounts of terrible losses, both in space and on the ground, poured in, each more dire than the last. The coalition, handpicked for this mission by the Council, had seen its fleet decimated, its forces scattered or obliterated. And with the fallout came the undeniable truth: the Council had committed a grave error. Inside the Council chambers, chaos replaced confidence. The once unified members now sat in stunned silence. Earth, which once posed no real threat, had emerged as something altogether different. The assurance that once defined their conversations gave way to confusion and fear. How had they been so wrong? How had they misjudged humanity to such an extreme? These questions lingered in the air, heavy and uncomfortable. Blame spread like wildfire. Some pointed fingers at intelligence services, accusing them of misreporting Earth's capabilities, whether through incompetence or deliberate deception. Others turned on coalition commanders, questioning their tactics. How had they allowed themselves to fall into what now looked like a carefully laid trap? But as accusations flew, it became evident the fault didn't lie with a few individuals. The entire council had been blind. Anger filled the chamber. Some began to confront their own arrogance. Had they dismissed the human warnings too quickly? Had their pride and superiority blinded them? Grudgingly, some acknowledged that they had ignored science and instead clung to a narrative that fit their own assumptions. Human ambassadors had warned them, Earth's defenses should not be taken lightly. But the council had chuckled, mocked, dismissed. Now, in the wake of chaos, a message came from Earth. Calm, direct, modest. It reiterated what the human ambassadors had originally stated, but now carried the weight of demonstrated power behind every word.